How to evict a tenant for house selling purposes in Ontario. The landlord might want to evict a tenant if they are trying to sell their place. However, they can only evict the tenant if the buyer or their close family member wants to move into the house. If so, the landlord must first give a written notice. The notice should be on a form called N12 because the purchaser or a family member of the purchaser requires the rental unit. Also, the landlord must offer the tenant another acceptable unit to move to. Or, pay the tenant at least 1 month's rent. Tenant does not have to move out just because they got the notice. If the tenant refuses to move out, the seller must file an application called L2 to end the tenancy and evict a tenant. The board or landlord should send the tenant a copy of this application and a notice of hearing. There are things a tenant can do before the hearing to try to reach an agreement with the landlord. If the tenant and landlord disagree, the tenant's case will go to a hearing at the board. At the hearing, the landlord must show the following: that they have followed all the proper steps in their application, and the buyer honestly plans to move into the tenant's place. The tenant needs to prepare for the hearing and think about the best ways to challenge the landlord's case at the hearing. If the tenant does not move out and the board does not evict the tenant, the buyer will become the tenant's new landlord.